Mark 1. Tony Stark's transformation from a billionaire playboy to a hero began in the unlikeliest of places, a dark, desolate cave. Captured by the Ten Rings, Tony was forced to build weapons for his captors, but instead, he did something far more dangerous and groundbreaking. With the help of Ho Yinsen, a fellow captive, Tony constructed the first Iron Man suit using nothing but scrap metal and ingenuity. This makeshift armor was far from perfect, but it served its purpose, creating just enough chaos for Tony to escape his captors. The Mark I wasn't designed to be a weapon of war, it was simply a tool for survival. But in that moment, Tony Stark's destiny was sealed, and the world would never be the same again. The first suit marked the beginning of a legend, proving that even in dire circumstances, brilliance can emerge. Mark II. After returning to the United States, Tony wasted no time refining his creation. The Mark II was the first real step toward perfecting the Iron Man concept. It was sleek, lighter, and faster than its predecessor, and for the first time, Tony achieved sustained flight. This was the suit that elevated Iron Man from a desperate escape tool to a true technological marvel. But, as with all of Tony's early designs, it wasn't without flaws. During a high-altitude test, Tony learned the hard way that his shiny new suit was prone to freezing. That lesson was a pivotal moment for Tony Stark. It revealed the difference between being a genius and a hero. Despite the setback, the Mark II proved that Tony Stark was no longer just a man. He was the future of warfare, innovation, and superheroism. Mark III. The Mark III was a game changer, a true leap forward in both design and functionality. Sporting the now iconic red and gold color scheme, the suit was crafted from a gold titanium alloy, a nod to Tony's obsession with perfection. The Mark III fixed the altitude freezing issue from the Mark II, added advanced repulsors, stabilized flight, and combat abilities, marking Tony's transformation into Iron Man. It was more than a suit, it was a weapon built for upcoming threats. During its first major fight with Obadiah Stane, it was nearly destroyed but established Iron Man as a fixture in Tony Stark's life. The Mark III symbolized Tony's resolve and innovation. Mark IV. With the superhero concept proven and Iron Man now a permanent part of his life, Tony turned his focus to perfecting his suit. The Mark IV didn't radically change the design, but instead improved upon the systems and materials that made the previous model so successful. Focused on durability, ease of maintenance, and long-term reliability, the Mark IV was a direct response to the Mark III's flaws. With upgraded internal systems, faster repairs, and streamlined performance, the Mark IV became the Iron Man suit Tony could rely on in the heat of battle. It marked a significant shift for Tony. No longer was he improvising, he was now building with precision and purpose. However, in the unpredictable world of Tony Stark, even stability is temporary, and the Mark IV was soon overshadowed by even more ambitious designs as Tony's needs and challenges evolved. Mark V. True brilliance lies in understanding when simplicity is the answer, and Tony Stark proved this with the Mark V, also known as the suitcase suit. While previous suits focused on strength, firepower, and durability, the Mark V was built for portability. This suit was designed for moments when speed and readiness mattered more than heavy armor and weaponry. The concept was clear: be prepared, always. Tony used the Mark V during the Monaco Grand Prix, where he assembled the suit on the fly to stop Ivan Vanko. The suit's portability marked a shift in Tony's approach to Iron Man armor, emphasizing readiness over size. The Mark V showed his evolving mindset: Iron Man is now about constant preparation. Mark VI. As much as Tony's suits were about fighting enemies, they were also about preserving his own life. The Mark VI represented a critical breakthrough for Tony's survival. After discovering the toxic nature of the palladium arc reactor, Tony switched to a new triangular version, which kept him alive and powered his suit. The suit, integrated with the new reactor, marked a significant upgrade in performance and health. The Mark VI wasn't just about looks or combat, it was Tony's solution to his mortality. While it provided cleaner energy, it had flaws. Tony faced difficulties with the internal locking systems, hindering quick escapes. Still, the Mark VI represented an evolution. A suit designed to fight and keep Tony alive, vital in his war against enemies and time. Mark VII. The Mark VII was the first suit to truly showcase Tony Stark's vision for advanced armor and self-assembly. Introduced during the Battle of New York, this suit was a game changer in terms of practicality and innovation. Tony's life was in danger when Loki threw him off Stark Tower, testing the Mark VII's ability to assemble mid-air. This feature showcased the future of Iron Man armor, adaptable and deployable anywhere. The Mark VII, the most advanced suit yet, gave Tony the tools to face the alien invasion. It also reflected Tony's trauma from the wormhole incident, prompting him to evolve his armor and marking a pivotal moment in Iron Man's technological and emotional development. Mark VIII. Following the Battle of New York, Tony Stark couldn't simply return to normal life. The traumatic events of that battle left him with a heightened sense of urgency, and he buried himself in his work. The Mark VIII focused on efficiency and production, building on the Mark VII with minor design and function improvements. Its faster, streamlined armor assembly reflected Tony's need for rapid global response. It wasn't about reinvention, but about establishing a reliable production rhythm. Tony transitioned from inventor to manufacturer, emphasizing refining his designs. Despite this stability, his mind raced toward the next evolution. Mark IX. As Tony's lab filled with suits, it became clear that his next challenge wasn't just creating new armor, it was figuring out how to deploy them more effectively. The Mark IX showed a shift to better weapon systems and remote operations, allowing Tony to summon it from anywhere, making it versatile and ready for action. It marked a key evolution. Tony no longer needed to be near his armor, giving him a tactical edge. Although Pepper Potts destroyed the suit in the final battle, it proved Tony's readiness to be everywhere at once and fight on multiple fronts. This was a crucial turning point in his adaptation to a changing world. Mark X. Tony's drive to push the boundaries of his armor took a new direction with the Mark X, focusing on speed and global response capabilities. The Mark X was designed for hypersonic speeds, enabling Iron Man to respond worldwide within minutes. Its advanced flight capabilities shifted focus from city patrols to global threats, emphasizing extreme performance over stealth or power. Tony aimed for a suit that symbolized rapid, worldwide defense, making him a true planetary protector. Mark XI. The Mark XI was a refinement of Tony's growing focus on system optimization, emphasizing tuning the details rather than major innovations. The suit didn't bring groundbreaking changes, but it improved fundamentals. A larger, more angular helmet for better sensors and optimized internal systems for smoother operation. Tony Stark's genius was in the details, and with the Mark XI, he showed that the best upgrades often come from overlooked elements. The Mark XI reflected Tony's desire to stay ahead, knowing that technology evolves gradually, and that every small tweak could be crucial in battle. This suit was not flashy, but it showed Tony's precision as an engineer, proving that Iron Man's success often depends on behind-the-scenes work to secure victory. Mark XII. By the time Tony reached the Mark XII, his armor wasn't just about performance, it was about raw durability. The Mark XII represented Tony's increasing focus on resilience. Made from a carbon gold titanium alloy, this suit was built for extreme conditions and long-lasting combat. Though the color scheme differed, the materials were the key difference, designed for durability in a prolonged fight rather than just a quick burst. Tony was now preparing for a more dangerous challenge. The Mark XII reflected his shift from reactive to proactive, built to withstand punishment and endure, showing his mental move from reacting to preparing. It was made for ongoing battles, embodying a tougher Tony Stark. Mark XIII. Tony's obsession with innovation reached new heights with the Mark XIII, where experimentation began to take center stage. The suit shifted to a silver look, abandoning the iconic red and gold, reflecting Tony's continuous search for better materials and designs. The Mark XIII introduced a rectangular arc reactor, breaking from tradition. It symbolized Tony's refusal to settle, showcasing his creative restlessness and drive for innovation. Though brief, the suit marked a key moment in Iron Man's ongoing evolution. Mark XIV. Before diving into truly experimental territory, Tony returned to the familiar with the Mark XIV, grounding his designs in a solid, balanced baseline. This suit went back to the classic circular arc reactor and focused on optimizing performance for everyday use. The Mark XIV was a balanced suit serving as Iron Man's stable, refined model before Tony risked more with his designs. It marked a crucial moment when Tony realized he needed to perfect the basics before advancing. The suit was a foundation for future innovations, symbolizing a calm phase of steady improvement before venturing into new territory. Sometimes, perfection comes through quiet progress. Mark XV. With the foundation solidified, Tony took a bold turn with the Mark 15, a suit built for one purpose: stealth. Codenamed Sneaky, this suit embraced a completely new approach, designed with radar-absorbent plating and a chrome-like finish that could blend into any environment. It was Iron Man at his most covert. Tony, always a strategist, recognized that sometimes the best way to win a fight was not to fight at all, but to stay unseen. The Mark 15 was a tactical evolution, created not for brute strength but for intelligence and subtlety. It demonstrated that Tony Stark wasn't just a hero who responded to threats, he was a hero who planned ahead, anticipating situations where stealth and precision mattered more than sheer firepower. The Mark 15 was Tony's way of showing that sometimes the best weapon is invisibility, marking a key shift in his approach to global security. Mark 16. If stealth was about staying hidden from the radar, the Mark 16 took this concept to its extreme by focusing on total visual concealment. Codenamed Nightclub, this suit was designed for one thing: disappearing. With an all-black finish, it could blend into shadows, making it nearly impossible for enemies to spot. The Mark 16 removed heavy weapons and focused on stealth, marking a new chapter where invisibility was as vital as firepower. Tony realized Iron Man wasn't always about brute force. Sometimes it was about becoming a ghost in the night. This suit signified a shift. He wasn't just designing for battles, but creating adaptable solutions, whether for overwhelming firepower or discretion. The Mark 16 embodied stealth and precision, reflecting Tony's evolving vision for Iron Man. Mark 17. When stealth wasn't enough and Tony Stark needed sheer power, the Mark 17 was born. Codenamed Heartbreaker, this suit was designed for overwhelming firepower, with its bulky, imposing frame built to absorb damage and unleash devastating repulsor blasts. Unlike its sleek predecessors, the Mark 17 was built for strength, showcasing Tony's readiness to face enemies head-on. Its massive chest repulsor could deliver powerful attacks, demonstrating that when diplomacy fails, Tony is prepared to fight with full force. This suit embodies strength and resolve, emphasizing Tony's willingness to stand his ground when needed. Mark 18. The Mark 18, or Casanova, was the fusion of raw power and stealth, combining the heavy weaponry of the Heartbreaker with the visual concealment of the Nightclub. This suit was built for infiltration and surprise, quietly entering hostile territory and delivering a swift, powerful strike when least expected. It was designed to be both a shadow and a wrecking ball. Tony Stark's genius was now focused on finding the perfect balance between brute force and stealth, and the Mark 18 embodied this dual purpose. It was a suit that could slip past undetected and then strike with the force of a freight train. The Casanova wasn't just another suit, it was a statement of Tony's ability to adapt to any situation, crafting armor that could be as silent as a whisper and as powerful as a thunderclap. This suit epitomized Tony Stark's versatility as both a genius inventor and a hero. Mark 19. Once he mastered stealth attacks, Tony aimed for the high ground. Mark 19, Tiger, was built to dominate the upper atmosphere. The Mark 19, with its advanced propulsion, was built for aerial dominance, allowing Iron Man to strike from the stratosphere and vanish before the shockwave reached the ground. Designed for speed, it enabled Tony to reach distant targets and deliver precise attacks from above. The suit emphasized positioning, dominance, and striking where others couldn't reach. Tony Stark's evolution as Iron Man focused on controlling the skies with a suit that gave him a clear advantage over any adversary, regardless of height or distance. Mark 20. High-speed, high-altitude flight is a massive energy drain, and Tony knew that a fast suit is just a coffin if the battery dies. This logistics problem gave rise to Mark 20, known as Python. Draped in a striking black and gold finish, this armor prioritized long-range endurance over flashy gadgets. It was engineered for extreme energy efficiency, allowing Tony to stay in the fight for hours without worrying about his arc reactor redlining. It was practical, workhorse armor built for the long game. Tony recognized that Iron Man needed to be more than just a quick response solution. Sometimes, staying in the fight for the long haul was the most important aspect. The Python was a workhorse suit designed for endurance over excitement. It marked a shift from flashy tech to functional, long-lasting performance, showing Tony's ability to create suits built for sustainability. Mark 21. With the energy consumption problem solved, Tony finally felt comfortable pushing his flight speed into the realm of pure science fiction. Mark 21 or Midas, was a dedicated supersonic prototype with an all-gold look that symbolized a new alloy capable of withstanding thermal stress from repeated breaking of the sound barrier. Midas was Tony's answer to the need for speed in a world that demanded Iron Man's presence anywhere, anytime. With this suit, Tony could cross the globe in minutes, cementing his role as a global protector. The Midas suit symbolized the ultimate fusion of speed, endurance, and Tony Stark's ever-expanding vision. Mark 22. If the Midas was about high-speed precision, the Mark 22, codenamed Hot Rod, was about high-octane energy and sheer excitement. With its flashy flame decals and bold design, the Hot Rod reflected Tony's love for fast cars and daring maneuvers. Built for high-heat, aggressive situations, it came with a risk: overheating. This high-risk, high-reward suit was meant for quick power bursts, not sustained combat. It symbolized Tony Stark's bold, brash personality, pushing boundaries, taking risks, and embracing the thrill of the fight. Though it could overheat, it was designed to make a statement, showing Iron Man's spirit of living life at full throttle without hesitation. Mark 23. Tony eventually realized that his greatest enemy wasn't always a villain. Sometimes it was simply the laws of thermodynamics. The Mark 23, or Shades, was built for heat resistance with thermal shielding and an internal refrigerant system, allowing it to operate in environments that would melt other suits. Tony designed it to withstand fire and extreme temperatures, making it vital for disaster response and combat in extreme environments. With the Mark 23, Tony showed Iron Man's role extends beyond the battlefield, addressing natural threats and demonstrating his readiness to face any element. The Shades suit reflects Tony's awareness of nature's laws and his commitment to protecting humanity. Mark 24. If surviving fire was about heat resistance, surviving an army was about stubborn thickness. The Mark 24, called Tank, was Tony's answer for heavy battles where speed mattered less. With massive armor and reinforced repulsors, the Tank was a heavy-duty suit built to absorb damage and keep going. It wasn't built for speed or stealth. It was designed to withstand the worst possible scenarios and keep Iron Man fighting when there was no other option. The Mark 24 was Tony's answer to situations where endurance mattered more than agility. It was a suit built for the final stand, for the moments when Tony had to take the hit and keep going. The Tank embodied Tony's understanding that not every battle could be won through quickness or finesse. Sometimes, sheer determination and the ability to outlast your enemies were the only ways to survive. Mark 25. But Tony's vision for heavy duty quickly evolved from taking hits to delivering massive structural impact. This led to the creation of Mark 25, known as Stryker. Instantly recognizable by its massive jackhammer-like arms, this suit wasn't actually built for traditional combat. It was built for demolition. Whether he was clearing debris from a disaster site or punching through a reinforced bunker, Stryker showed that Tony was thinking about the aftermath of war just as much as the war itself. Over the years, the armor became more than protection. It became a symbol of sacrifice, evolution, and legacy for Tony Stark. By the way, which Iron Man suit do you think was truly the best? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch the next video on screen.